Have you ever looked into a mirror and asked yourself, did my reflection just do something that I didn't do? Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to the Persian Reactor. I know I haven't been posting for quite a few weeks now because I was really wondering like what kind of content I want to put out. Do I really just want to talk about movies? But I realized there's a lot of things that I'm interested in and some things that might be interesting for you as well. So I would love you to take a look at this one, which is I'll be doing readings of different stories and creepypastas that I quite enjoy. Not just creepypastas, of course, but now this is just this one story. And yeah, take a look, take a listen, kick back and enjoy. This is a horror story called A Reflections Requiem, and hopefully you guys would enjoy it.
The Reflections Requiem. My life had always been unremarkable. A simple existence in the picturesque town of Willowbrook. I, Edward Harroway, worked long hours in the local steel mill to provide for my family, my wife, Margaret, and our two children, Lucy and Tommy. Our quaint ivy-covered home was filled with warmth and love, and I was content with our routine, I must say. One evening, as I walked home from the mill, I caught a glimpse of my reflection in the still waters of a murky pond nearby my house. The figure in the water appeared to be my mirror image, of course, but there was something unsettling about it this time. Its eyes were hollow and cold, and as though they were hiding a very dark secret. I looked around, and there was nobody else nearby. Looking back at the pond, the reflection remained the same, and it suddenly began to shimmer and flicker, creating an eerie presence that sent chills down my spine. Over the next few days, the figure haunted me, always lurking just out of sight. I couldn't just shake it off. I could feel its gaze on me, a silent menace that seemed to know every move I make, everything I do. I was never quite able to catch it, but I knew it was there. I could feel its eerie presence constantly there in my life from then on. Desperate for answers and possibly some solace, I confided in my wife about this mysterious figure, and Margaret, being a worried wife and a caring mother that she is, she told me to maybe I should go and see the local physician, Dr. Wentworth. And I did. What else could I do? Dr. Wentworth, an old man with a soothing voice, listened to my story intently, and after a thorough examination, he suggested that my visions were just likely results of being overworked and stressed. He prescribed a brief period of relaxation along with some herbal remedies to calm my nerves. I reluctantly agreed to. What other choices did I have? I took a few weeks off work to focus on my mental health. During that time, I played with Lucy and Tommy in our sun-dappled garden and strolled hand in hand with Margaret in our town. The days passed, and the sightings of the figure became less frequent. I started noticing some normalcy coming back to my life. On the final day of my reprieve, I decided to confront my fear and go to the pond where it all began. I went back to the pond, I stared into the murky water, and my heart pounding in my chest. I only saw my own reflection greeting back at me. This time it was filled with warmth and life, and the mysterious figure was never there, as it's just me looking back at myself. Overwhelmed with gratitude, I fell to my knees and I cried. I cried, my tears dropping and mingling with the still waters of the pond. Life had returned to normal for me and my family. I was so happy. I resumed my work at the mill with renewed vigor, and our home was once again filled with laughter and joy. Yet there was this lingering sense of unease that I could not shake, a feeling that the figure was still out there, watching from the shadows. As the days turned to weeks, my dreams turned to nightmares. I couldn't dream anymore. Every time I close my eyes, I only see disturbing images and distorted figures that look just like me, with an eerie smile on their face and a cold gaze. I would jump up out of a bed covered in cold sweat, and I could only hear this echo of a sinister laughter in the distance ringing in my ear. I began questioning my own sanity, wondering if the figure was a manifestation of my deepest fears or if it was something far more sinister, lurking just beyond the veil of my understanding. The line between reality and the nightmare began to blur, and I found myself questioning everything I knew. Was the figure harbinger of doom, or was it just a reflection of some dark truth hidden within myself? I struggled to find the answer, but The more I saw, the more elusive they became. In the end, the true nature of the figure remained shrouded in mystery. The horror of its presence lingered, leaving me with a constant gnawing ease that defied explanation. The once comforting boundaries of my life had been shattered now, they were all replaced by this haunting uncertainty of the unknown. My family and I continue to live our lives the best we can, but the specter of the mysterious figure casts a large shadow over our idyllic existence. I did my best to protect them from the darkness that now clouded my mind, hoping that they would never have to face the same chilling unknown that haunted me. I know for sure that what I saw in the pond was not a reflection of my imagination, but what do I know really? As the seasons changed and the leaves began to turn, I found myself drawn back to the pond. I stood at the water's edge, gazing into the murky depths, searching for any sign of the figure that had tormented me so long. But there was nothing, only my own reflection staring back at me, again. Unbeknownst to me, the figure had only been biding its time, waiting for me. As I stared into the water, my reflection began to shift and ripple, and suddenly taking a life of its own. A sudden, inexplicable force pulled me toward the pond as though the water itself had come alive and was reaching out to claim me. Before I could react, I found myself submerged in the dark, icy water, my lungs burning as they were filled with a cold, murky liquid. I fought to resurface, but no use. The pond seemed to have a malevolent will of its own, keeping me trapped beneath the surface. In my panic, I caught sight of the figure, my doppelganger. Emerging from the water, stealing my place in the world, it stood at the edge of the pond, wearing my clothes, my face, my very identity. But its eyes were still hollow and cold, revealing that darkness now lived in my place. As I struggled in vain to break free, the figure looked down at me. Its chilling gaze piercing my soul, it uttered a sinister laugh, a sound that could haunt me for all eternity, before turning and walking away, leaving me in that watery grave. Powerless to escape my fate, I watched the figure claim my life, my family, my very existence. I was trapped beneath the surface, just a forgotten shadow doomed to watch the world above, unable to warn my loved ones of the horror that had taken my place. And so, my life was stolen from me, replaced by an entity of darkness and despair. My family, unaware of the terrible truth, embraced this impostor, unknowingly welcoming the very thing that had destroyed our once happy existence. As the days turned to weeks, and weeks turned to months, I remained trapped in the pond, my prison now, my tomb. The figure had taken everything from me, leaving me nothing but the cold, dark waters and the maddening echo of its sinister laughter. It was then that I realized my fate had been sealed, and my once happy ending had been twisted into a tale of horror and despair, a nightmare from which I could never awaken from.
Well, thank you very much for listening this far if you've reached this point. I'm gonna be putting out more content like this. I tried my best to narrate, of course, my voice is a little bit iffy right now, but I do hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'll be posting more stuff later on, but if there's a very specific story you want me to narrate, then I'm not saying that my voice is any good, but hey, I'm just gonna give it a shot here. Yeah, be sure to like and subscribe and do share this around and check out my other videos. I'll see you guys later. Peace.